So, as of the time of this recording, there is less than a week to go until Xbox's big 2025 game showcase. And I mean, it's kind of crazy to say that, right? It doesn't feel like it's been a whole year since the last one. But I could just be crossing wires and confusing the January showcases with the June ones and then maybe a little bit of Gamescom. I don't know. You know how it goes. Time flies when you're having fun. So I've written a really big list going studio by studio that Xbox owns, and I want to just talk about what I think they're going to show at the big June showcase event. And so I got like what? How many pieces? I got several pieces of paper here, or for what I think is going to happen. And my first prediction is we're going to start with, I think we're going in actual alphabetical order, and that is the Coalition. So we know that they're making Gears E Day. That was teased. I think the first teaser was last game showcase, wasn't it? That was a cinematic teaser with Mad World. That's all we've seen of that game. And if we go by previous Gears reveals, usually the year after we get at least a little bit of gameplay. So my first prediction is that we're gonna get. I mean, it's not really. A lot of these are softballs. They're not like out of left field predictions. I do have a couple of those, but most of them are probably safe bets. I mean, this is my fifth year doing this, and I usually just go and look at all the studios that they own, figure out if they've released a game recently, and if not, it's safe to assume that they're going to announce it soon, announce something soon. And if they just put out a game, then no, then you can just assume that we're probably not going to hear from them. That's usually is the bare bones of what you have to do for a list like this. So Gears E Day will get gameplay, and I think it's going to be announced for next year. And I don't know what time of year. Maybe I wrote down Q1 or Q2 because as you'll see as the list goes on, I think next year is going to be stacked. And you know they're going to want to line it up with the 20th anniversary of Gears because that's next year, right? Isn't that nuts to think about? Like 10 years ago next year was Gears 4. It's wild. And so to celebrate the anniversary, they're going to do Gears E Day, but I think we're going to get something else Gears before that. Back when they announced Gears Reloaded, I was confused. I was like, why only the first game if the first game was already remastered, albeit 10 years ago, but it was already remastered. So I think they were holding back announcements for 2 and 3 remaster for this show. I think we will get an announcement that, hey, Gears 2 and 3 also got the Gears 1 Reloaded treatment, and it'll be, you can buy them all three together in a bundle later this year, or like I still think 1 is going to come out when it's going to come out, but I think 2 and 3 will release by the end of this year, probably not slipping into next year. And you can buy all three together or separately. All of them go in Game Pass, and I think it'll be on. I think it's happening. Well, Gears 1's going. We already know it's going to PS5. I think 2 and 3 remaster will also go to PS5. But not only that, if you buy the collection, I think it'll be Gears 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Judgment all together. Judgment, it's not going to get a remaster. It's probably just going to be the 360 version. Same thing with 4 and 5. It's probably going to be exactly how they were. 2 is really the one that needs the most work. And it's my personal favorite. So that's what I think Gears is doing, or the Coalition. Then I wrote down Compulsion Games. I think nothing. I think we're going to get absolutely nothing from them because South of Midnight just came out. Didn't really cause that much of a buzz, so I just think they're going to be a no-show this year. Then I have Double Fine, and they are one that, as I was reading the list of studios Xbox owns, I'm like, okay, they've been quiet for like almost 4 years now. They've had nothing since Psychonauts 2. I think it's time. And I think there's a high possibility, I gave it like an over, like, no, actually, you know what, a 50-50 chance, actually, that they announce their new game and they say, hey, surprise, it's actually coming out this year. Or maybe a shadow drop, I highly doubt that, but that would be pretty cool. Would it be Psychonauts 3? Maybe, because isn't that their most, like, lucrative franchise? I don't know, I feel like Tim Schafer wants to do something else, like maybe he's going to go back to the well and do, what was that Jack Black game? I'm blanking on what it was called with the guitar and was it not heavy metal, whatever that Jack Black game was. Maybe he's making a sequel to that. I don't know. So Double Fine I think is pretty guaranteed to be there this time. Now this next one, as a big Halo fan, it hurts me to say, but I think Halo Studios will still have no new game. I just think maybe they'll have some kind of update for Infinite. I doubt it because that game seems to be winding down already. I say already, but it's been nearly 4 years, but it just didn't get the support that the previous games got, and that was due to all the issues with the code. It's like a spaghetti code. The Slip Space engine sucks. They fired everyone that worked on that engine pretty much. So yeah, it's just a big mess. But I think the only Halo related announcement will be MCC, Master Chief Collection, is coming to Switch 2 and probably PS5. I know some people don't want to hear that, but Xbox is putting lots of games on PlayStation, so I think it could happen. I think I give that a 60% chance that Halo MCC comes to PS5. All right, next up I have The Initiative, and we saw Perfect Dark last year. We saw a tiny bit of gameplay, not a ton. I think we're going to get more. We're going to get an actual like full gameplay demo of like basically somebody playing it, and they will have a probably firm release date of coming, I think, early next year, probably, because the middle and later half of next year I think are already stacked for Xbox. And on top of that, to celebrate the 25th, we just had recently the 25th anniversary of Perfect Dark, the first one as a franchise. I think to celebrate, the original will come to Switch 2 and or PS5, probably both. And that's all I got for them. inXile this is always the studio that I don't know what I'm not sure what their next move will be. But I think it's safe to say we're going to get gameplay for... I think this year is going to be more gameplay heavy than the past couple years. Last year's showcase was incredible. I think it was their Xbox's best show by far. But there wasn't as much gameplay as we would have hoped. And I think we're going to get a lot more this time. Some more deep dives. But I think finally we're going to get actual gameplay demo for Clockwork Revolution. And I think there's a slim chance it comes out this fall, but more likely next year, because this fall is going to get crowded real fast. So probably 2026. And then for Mojang, this is another studio I never know what to put for that except for Minecraft update, ? Because like that's a given all the time. But they're doing less updates these days on Minecraft, so they're fewer and farther between. So I think the only thing that makes sense from Mojang is Minecraft Dungeons 2. I know the first one did pretty well as far as I know, and then it had lots of DLC. And it does well on Game Pass as well. But I don't think we're going to get anything from Minecraft Legends, because I almost forget that game even existed. I think that game is dead. No more DLC. I don't think it even got any DLC, but nobody played it. I think it flopped. So nothing for that, but I think Minecraft Dungeons 2 possibly announced. Next is another no-show, and that is Ninja Theory. We had... Wow, why am I blanking on what... Hellblade 2 last year, and I don't think... And it just came to PS5, and I don't think they're going to show anything. I know they got a lot of stuff cooking right now, but I just don't think anything's ready yet. So, no show on them. Next up is Obsidian, and I think Outer Worlds 2... we already know there's a demo. We're getting a whole... direct. After the Xbox showcase is over, we're getting a whole Outer Worlds 2 direct, which will show tons of gameplay. We'll get a firm release date, and I think it is confirmed for this year, which was surprising that we're getting 2 Obsidian games in 1 year, because Avowed came out. So, yeah, Outer Worlds 2 this year, with the possibility of the first game coming to other platforms, because it's been out long enough. Unless it already is. I don't think it is, but as far as I know, it's not. Outer Worlds 1 coming to maybe Switch 2, maybe PS5. I think that's what Xbox is going to do now. Some of their older games are going to put on other platforms to make a quick buck. And then besides that, I think maybe a new Grounded update announced from them as well, because I know they got probably lots in the works, and I would love to say New Vegas 2, but if it happens, it's a long way off. Because need I remind you, Xbox owns Obsidian and Bethesda, and they own all the rights. They could do New Vegas 2. There's nothing stopping them now. Then I got Playground Games, Fable gameplay demo. We're going to get, again, another demo, because we've really only seen trailers that show bits of gameplay, but full-on demo coming next year, but no release date, just a release year, 2026. And then also, like I had for Perfect Dark, I think the old Fable games will come to Switch 2 and or PS5. And then also, as like a big surprise, I think Playground Games has 2 teams. As far as I know, they have 3 locations. I looked this up on, it was Wikipedia, but as far as I know, they have 3 locations. And I think their main team has been working on Fable, and they're probably able to downsize the team a bit because they're getting close to the end. Kind of like what Rockstar does when they get close to the end, they can have other people work on other stuff because they need less people because they're winding down. I think they're winding down Fable, and I think their other team has been working on Forza Horizon 6 this whole time because if you look at the pattern for the old Forza Horizon games, it's usually we get one every 2 or 3 years. And by October this year, it will have been 4 years since Forza Horizon 5, which that's kind of crazy. But I think they will surprise us with Forza Horizon 6 this year, October-ish, straight into Game Pass, and maybe at launch on PS5 because 5 just came to PS5. So, or they'll wait a bit. Maybe it'll be like a year exclusivity window. I don't know. I will loop back around to Forza later when I talk about Turn 10. So remember what I said about this. Next, I have Rare, and I think finally, Everwild will be re-revealed. I know I feel like I've been saying that for like 3 years now because they revealed it in 2020, right, with the launch of the Series X, and we've seen nothing of it since then. Like, what happened to Everwild? And so I think it's probably been in production hell. Maybe they rebooted the whole thing. I don't know. Sure seems like it because it's been a long time. So I think it'll be re-revealed with a new trailer, no date, but we'll see it again. And then also from Rare, Banjo 3. No, I'm kidding. I wish I'm gonna stop doing that. I know for like 5 years now I've been putting Banjo 3 on the predictions list. I'm just not gonna do it. Now watch this be the year. Watch it actually happen. The one time I don't put it on the list. Thank God I don't bet anything. Like I don't gamble with these lists. But I think they'll also have a big Sea of Thieves update to announce. Then, as I just mentioned before this with Playground, Turn 10, no new Forza game because they rebooted the series with Forza Motorsport a couple years ago. That's what the new one's called. Instead of, what was it, 9? Would it have been 9 or 8? Something like that. I think they wanted to make it like a platform where they just keep updating the game instead of near annual releases. I don't know. Although that one took longer than the previous ones, and I feel like nobody plays it or talks about it. But I think, you know what? I didn't have this written down, but I just thought maybe that game comes to PS5, the Forza Motorsport reboot. But I think they'll really just say, hey, we're just working with Playground, and they've been helping with what people they could spare that are working on Fable. To help the other ones that are working on Forza Horizon 6, because you got to do something for Forza's anniversary. This year is Forza's 20th anniversary, so I feel like you have to do a Forza game. So I think Horizon 6 from Playground and Turn 10 for the anniversary in October. Then this one actually is really exciting to me. Undead Labs. Finally, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Where is State of Decay 3? Like, we saw that initial teaser, and then we went years of nothing. We saw finally a teeny bit of gameplay last year, but it wasn't enough to sate me or all the fans. But I think finally State of Decay 3 demo. Coming spring. I think it's coming spring next year. And potentially to Switch 2 and PS5. But it's just, man, I love that franchise, and it's been so long. So I'm hoping they actually nail it this time, because 2 was just as buggy as 1, and I'm hoping they were on Crytek with those first 2 games, and I think they're on Unreal Engine now. I'm hoping it's not a buggy mess like the first 2. 2 wasn't as bad. I know it got tons of patches, but it needed a lot of work. Then I got World's Edge, the studio that works on Age of Empires. They're also probably a no-show. They put out Age of Mythology last year, I think, and so I don't think they'll have anything to show this time. Then I got Activision Blizzard. A Tony Hawk trailer, just to remind us, hey, Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remake are coming out this year. And then a teeny tiny teaser for Call of Duty, whatever it's called, probably Black Ops 7. I don't know. What's even crazy that those words are coming out of my mouth, Black Ops 7. But I don't think we're getting a full trailer here, and I think it's because this is going to be a super rushed game, kind of like MW3 a couple years ago. We're just going to get a teaser, and I think Call of Duty themselves are going to tease the game again within Black Ops 6, like they've done in the past. They're going to tease the game in an in-game event. So just a teaser for that. And then this one, oh man, this one hurts my soul too. but I think nothing from Toys for Bob, because I believe I made videos on this. I believe those rumors that there was a new Crash game in the works that got canceled by Activision. So I think that was dead. I hope they surprise me and they're like, hey, we made a new Spyro. That's what I really want. I care more about Spyro than Crash personally. So I'm hoping they're working on another Spyro, but something tells me that they were working on like a Crash 5 and it got axed by those idiots at Activision for some reason. And so I think that they basically had to restart. So we're still a ways off for Toys for Bob. Sad face. Prove me wrong, please. Then we got ZeniMax Media / Bethesda. I think Arcane Leon, R.I.P. Austin, by the way. That studio's dead. Redfall, it sucks because I think they were the ones that made Prey. And I really liked that game, and we never got the sequel to that version of Prey. I know there's the original Prey, but like I liked 2017 Prey. And I love Dishonored. So Dishonored's probably dead, unfortunately, but Arcane Leon, they had that Blade cinematic tiny tease. I think that was at the Game Awards 2 years ago or something. But I think we'll get maybe another trailer for that. Maybe a tiny bit of gameplay, but probably just another cinematic trailer. No date. And I wrote this as a little side note. Please, Xbox and Bethesda, please update Dishonored 2 and give us a Series X patch. Actually, give a patch, update all the games. Most of them run, I don't understand this. 1 and Death of the Outsider run at 60 frames per second on that system, but 2 doesn't. 2 is stuck at 30, and it's like, dude, that game can totally run, probably can run at 120 now on that Xbox. So maybe that'd be cool if they had some kind of new Dishonored collection and they re-released it, all the games with improvements, like remaster the whole thing. I don't know. That'd be kind of neat. As a huge Dishonored fan, I would love it, but I don't know if that'll happen. Next up is id Software. Probably nothing, because Doom just came out a couple weeks ago. Doom the Dark Ages, and I know Doom Eternal got their first DLC at the end of 2020. Like, we got Ancient Gods Part 1 pretty quickly, like by the end of that year. But Dark Ages is such a bigger game, I don't think that's happening. I think we're not getting the next Doom DLC until next year. So it is probably nothing. Probably just a message from Marty and Hugo thanking the fans for playing, but nothing really. And then this is something I say every year for ZeniMax Online. I just put, I don't know, more ESO, because I never know what to say about that. I don't play ESO. Elder Scrolls Online, for anyone that doesn't know. I just don't care personally. It'll probably be like there's usually an update every year to that, like clockwork. So that'll happen again. Machine Games, I actually just thought of something that I didn't have written down, but I'll get to that in a second. Indiana Jones DLC. We know it's called In the Valley of the Giants or something like that. I think we might get it by the end of this year. So I will definitely play that because I really enjoyed the main Great Circle game. So I think DLC for that, we'll get a teaser for it coming later this year. And then, like the Dishonored thing, I'm begging you, Xbox, please make a Series X update for the Wolfenstein games. All 4 of the not recent, but like the modern Wolfenstein games. Update them, please. Remaster them if you have to. I know it seems weird to remaster them. They're not that old, but please give us like a 60 FPS patch for them, please. And then the thing I just remembered and thought of is Quake related, but I don't think that'll be here. I think that'll be at QuakeCon. I think Machine Games has another team secretly working on Quake 5. And I talk about it in another video. Quake 5 was written on the whiteboard in that Indiana Jones video. Still don't know why that was a thing, but I think they are. So, but I don't think that'll be announced here. They don't want to play all their cards. Xbox has to hold some announcements back for their plethora of events, like for I was going to say Jeff Keighley show, but that happens 2 days before this, I think. But I think maybe Gamescom or the Game Awards or the next show, the next January show. Then I got BGS, Bethesda Game Studios. I think still no Elder Scrolls 6, despite it being, 7 years since that teaser, that announcement. It's still coming. Still too early to say anything. But again, like ESO, I think we're getting another Fallout 76 update. No-brainer. But this is something I thought of earlier. Fallout 1 and 2, it's already available on PC Game Pass, but I think they have configured it to work on Series X and the option to use a mouse because you can use a mouse on the Series X. I think it'll come to that. PS5 and Switch 2 because Switch 2 has mouse support. So that'd be pretty neat playing Fallout 1 and 2 with a Nintendo Switch 2 mouse. So I think that'll happen. And I actually have several announcements for BGS only to tide us over because of no ES6. I think they'll have a lot of other things to kind of lessen the blow of the weight. But besides those things, I think maybe, just maybe, Virtuous comes out and says, hey, the Oblivion remake has done insanely well, sold extremely well, and Xbox has immediately greenlit Morrowind. And it's going to need a lot more work, a ton more work than Oblivion because it's much older. So I think Morrowind, they're going to start development on a full ground-up remake of Morrowind. Or they just don't say anything until it's ready to come out because Xbox seems to be doing that more where they just don't say anything until 6 to 12 months out from the game when they're like, boom, here it is. So, I mean, they did that with Ninja Gaiden 4. So, and they've done several shadow drops like that. I mean, Oblivion is like the ultimate one. So maybe I'm just counting my chickens before they hatch. Maybe Morrowind is a couple years off and they'll just announce it and then like 2 days later be like, it's out. But I don't know. And then I also think the Fallout 3 remake is real. There was rumors of that. I think the Fallout 3 remake is real, and I think it's coming sometime next year or the year after. No date for it, though. And then here's the biggie. I think there's no new Starfield expansion. I think Starfield and the expansion did so poorly, I think they've dropped development on it. And all hands are on deck for Elder Scrolls 6. So, rip Starfield. Yeah, I mean, I know we'll probably get a Starfield 2 one day, but that's so far off that it's not even worth thinking about. And we're getting close to the end here. I'm winding down. This is my last sheet of paper for other announcements. That I just listed. That was all of their first party studios that they own. But there can be other announcements that are not related to first party. And I think the biggie is Steam. I think it's happening. I think all the rumors that have been rumbling for over a year about Steam OS coming to Xbox, I think it's happening. They're going to integrate it seamlessly so you can flip between your Steam library and your Xbox library. And as someone who doesn't have the money right now for a PC, but I have a laptop, but I would love that. It would be awesome to be able to play Steam games that are unavailable on the Xbox store. There's plenty of them that I would love to play, but I just can't. Would be awesome if they're like, hey, Steam is coming to Xbox by the end of this year. That'd be sweet. And then this is kind of the rest is just kind of random announcements. I think that game Replaced is finally coming out this year because God, it's been so long. I feel like that was like 5 years ago they revealed it, and it was like it's coming 2021. Nope, it's coming 2022. Nope, coming 2023. And then it's been delayed a bajillion times. Their last delay, I think they were firm. They're like, okay, we know we've been delaying it a bunch, but we guarantee it's next year. And I think it's finally happening. I think it's out this year. This one is a massive cope on my part. I just wrote play dead ? And then please in all caps because it's been 9 freaking years. Inside was 9 years ago. Where is your next game? I love Play Dead. I've been waiting with bated breath. Where is your next game? Hopefully when it's out it's worth the wait and it's probably going to be much bigger, but come on guys, it's next year it'll be a decade, man. Then I think Judas, that game we've seen a couple times from Ken Levine's new studio, I think that gets a release date of next year. This is another cope that I kind of want. We know that it was going to take some time to get the rights back to some of the old games that are in the Activision catalog. After the merger, it was going to take a little bit. And I think it's been long enough that they've acquired the rights to some of these, and I think they'll go back on Game Pass. Maybe remastered, maybe just a straight port of the 360 version. That at least would be cool. Like, I think that's more likely. Like a backwards compatible 360 version of these games. And well, one of them is on the store. If you look up Transformers, I think it's War for Cybertron, or no, Fall of Cybertron is on the store for some reason, and it just says unavailable. And it's not the 360 page either. It looks like a newer page for it. So for some reason, that's been in the back end. So I think they're going to be like, hey, we acquired the rights to tons of old ActiBliz games, and they're all going on Game Pass, like a bunch of Marvel games, so like this old Spider-Man games, the old Transformers games, that Deadpool game, X-Men Origins Wolverine that everybody loves, even Quake 4, which is a Raven Software game. I would love that. And even something like 2009 Wolfenstein Reboot, which is another Raven Software game. That'd be an awesome announcement to just drop all of those, like a shadow drop. Be like, they're all out right now, and you can go and jump into like one of 15 games that have been brought back from the dead. Would be sweet. A little bit of wishful thinking, but that's, I don't know. I think it's highly possible. And then I got two more things on here, and that is just a shadow drop of some kind. Some big new shadow drop of a game that we have never heard of, and it comes out that day. I know that's vague, but I think that'll happen. It usually happens every time at one of these shows. And then my final prediction for 2025 Xbox Game Showcase is Studio MDHR reveals their next game. Cuphead, it's been a long time since Cuphead, and then their DLC came out I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago. So I think it's time. And you know what? It's probably Cuphead 2. Cuphead did so well, I think it's Cuphead 2. So, yeah, that's it. I had ideas for other things, but the problem is a lot of these things are probably gobbled up by Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest show, which happens 2 days before the showcase. So, like, I was going to mention BioShock, but 2K Games is listed as a partner for Jeff's show. So I think more than likely, if there's a BioShock announcement, which there's been rumblings of for a while, it'll be there. It'll be at his show. And I think I have that day off, so I'm gonna try to stream. I think you can stream it, unless you have to sign up to be a co-streamer. I don't know. But that's my list of my predictions for the showcase this year. Let me know what you think. Would you like to... would some of these announcements, do they sound likely to you? Or are they insane? Are they preposterous? What ones do you have? What other things did I not think of? Let me know in the comments. And I will see you, hopefully, on the 8th. And I'll be streaming that show live, and you'll see all my reactions. So, see you guys then. Until then, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Peace out.